friends, and today we're going to be jumping right in to learn about the phases of the moon. This is going to be a really short one because I really want for you to jump in and try a couple of hands-on ideas. So I'm going to do 3 different really super short activities to show you all about why the moon has some phases. So for this first one, if you want to try it too, you're going to need a ball, preferably a styrofoam ball, so that you can stabby McJab it and hold it out in front of you at about eye level. And you're going to need a dark room and a lamp, preferably without a lampshade. Okay, let's jump in. So with your ball on a stick at about eye level, you're going to start by facing your light source and then slowly turning away from it. Watch how the shadow on the ball in front of you moves. And ignore that one because that was my body getting in the way. So I'll do some different backups periodically so you can see. But look how the shadow moves on the ball itself. When it's in front of the light, it's completely dark. As we move away, you can watch the light grow on one side. When you go the reverse way, the shadow grows. So just like if I was the earth and the ball was the moon, you can watch the shadow move across it. Now that's the full moon, so it's all the way bright. And watch the shadow grow on the opposite side. I think it's really way easier to see when I'm pretty close to the light. See if you can see that too. Now, if you're like me, you really like snacks. And one thing I love so much that used to get me in so much trouble was playing with my food. I love to make pictures out of food, and now today I have a little girl who loves that. She thinks it's so funny when she looks at her plate or her little lunchbox and there's little scenes to it. So today I am giving you permission to play with your food, at least for this activity. So guess what you're going to need? For this next example, I'm going to use some Oreos. I feel like bigger ones really do work a lot better, but I've got the minis. So let's split them out and start splitting some of these cookies. Okay, what do we start noticing about these? So full face on this one, there's our full moon. So now this one, we want it to be almost full. So if you've got a knife, use a knife. I'm going to be weird and use my fingernail and take just a little slice out of it. And then I'll do that on a cookie on the other side. Take just a little slice out of it. What do you see here? This is my full moon and my gibbous moons. So these ones are just over half. We're going to want some that are like exactly half. So we've got exactly half and exactly half. Perfect. So our half moons are called quarter moons, which I know feels kind of silly because we can see that it's half. But remember that each one of our moons is a sphere, so there's also another side to each one. Just like the opposite side of our moon when we have a full moon will be a new moon. But I'll show you that once we get all the way around in our circle. Starting from our new moon, which means that our sunlight is coming from this direction, our moon is going to be moving around the earth. So it goes new moon to waxing crescent, where you can just start to see some of the light on this side. Waxing means that it's adding. So adding light, and now it's a crescent. Adding light, and this is where it's the halfway point, and that's a first quarter. Waxing gibbous, full moon. So now we have a full face of sunlight on the moon. But the moon's going to keep traveling, and it's going to start getting smaller. Next we have waning gibbous. Waning means that it's going backwards. It's going away, or less than. We have a third quarter, a waning crescent, and back to the new moon. See if you can and track with your eyes where the light is hitting your cookies each time. Now this is something that you can do just via drawing, or like we showed before, holding a sphere. So see if you can match it with cookies or a drawing, and see if you can look for those same shadows when you look at your sphere going in a circle. It takes 30 days for our moon to go through all of these stages. Now, who knew that the moon could be so delicious? And definitely not even made out of cheese. So let's run right into our very next one. I know we're moving pretty quick today, but I feel like you guys have all got this. I know y'all can do it. So let's go back and review our steps one more time as we make our final project. Now, you can't see it on here, but on the left and the right sides would be where our new moon is. So we're going to start just like we were reading, and we're going to say new moon. Now move over one, and we'll be at the waxing crescent. Move over to the next one here in orange, and that is our first quarter moon. Next is our waxing gibbous. That's when we can see 3/4 of the face. Next in green is our full moon. It looks like a full circle to us because half of the moon is lit up. Now we're going to go in the reverse, and you'll have the waning sides. Gibbous, 3/4, and crescent. So here is my last model. I'm going to use any clear plastic container. You could use a plastic cup. I have this one from a set of ornaments I got last year. And grab some construction paper, and I cut it down to a size that fits inside of my container, and I can move around. And kind of in the middle, I took actually one of the planets I didn't use, and I put some gold foil on it. You can color it, you can paint it. This can be yellow or white, anything you'd like. I just really like the idea of gold, especially because it makes it shiny. And I'm just going to line up my paper and make sure that I'll be able to fit it to the sides, but so it will still move pretty freely. And then you can just tape or glue it down. I'm going to use tape because I lost my glue stick for the 1000th time today. And I don't feel like waiting for liquid glue to dry. So, first step, done. Not too bad at all. I'll put the paper back inside. It might take a little bit of convincing, and there it goes. And now it can spin freely. So next, to have it show the phases of the moon, I'm going to take a permanent marker. I've got a paint marker, but I found that the Sharpies can work just as well, so long as you let them dry before touching them, so they don't get smudgy. So our first one here is the full moon. I'm going to find a nice halfway point, and I'm just going to put a little circle around it. So I know that here is my full moon. Not bad. I'm going to move my paper to exactly opposite. And here, I'm going to draw another circle all the way around it. But I know now that the opposite of the full moon is a new moon, which means we cannot see it. The whole face is covered. So I'm going to color in the entire circle that I drew. If it helps you to label it now while you're going, definitely do that as well. I'm going to put just the initials. Then I'm going to spin it and find the halfway point between those circles and add in my quarter moons. So quarter moons show halves. We'll put in a quarter moon, and across from that, put in a quarter moon. We'll draw a line in half. Draw a line in half. And we've got some extra circles going, so we'll make sure that there's room for all of our next circles, because our gibbous and our crescents are going to be in between all of these layers. It's alright if they don't fit quite right. Sometimes our scale can get messed up, especially if we're eyeballing it. If you want it to be more precise, feel free to measure it out. I'm personally just gonna eyeball it and wing it. Okay. Now we've got it set up. So here's our full moon, and we're gonna move it right to the left, and that means that we know that part of it is going to start hiding. So here is our waning gibbous, and it's going to darken just a little bit on that side. Okay. This one we've already decided was our quarter. We're going to color in the same side that was already in the shadow. So look in here, we colored in a little part of it. If you need a little bit more space, you can go as far as making it like a crescent like that. Whatever feels right, okay? Then we have a half, and then we're gonna do our waning crescent. So this one's gonna feel a little bit opposite. We have only this crescent of light left, and all this part is going to be in the shadow. Okay, got a little doodle line here. Try to get that off later. There we go. We can check it once we get here, and here's the little N we did for our new moon, and it's totally covered. Perfect. Good. So now we're going to start seeing a peak of light. So its light is going to start coming in, and there we go. And we'll color in the rest because it's still all mostly dark. Now we can check our work. Watch where the light is moving. Perfect. Now the next one. Half of it is in the light and half is in the dark. Fill that side in. Perfect. And next, we want it to be mostly in the light. We'll get our crescent shape on there. little bitty shadow. And next, our full moon. You can see the whole thing now. So, if you do a style like this, you can polish up the paint job after, but you'll see that our model works to show the phases of the moon. Just by turning my outer cup, we can show each phase. Now you can choose any of these projects or something completely different. Now, funny enough, today that I'm recording this is a full moon. It's the strawberry moon. I really look forward to seeing what kind of moons you do. I think it would be really neat if you did one of these, or if you thought of something yourself. Show me how you can tell that the moon has a phase. And if you do multiple moons for your planet, show me them. I look forward to seeing your work. Bye.